Hello everyone, welcome back to the studio. I hope this day finds you well and things are going in the right direction for you. I thought I'd get together today and get with you here in the studio and do another watercolor. And here it is, it's the middle of April. I should be doing a spring scene, but I did this picture, about a month and a half ago, and spring hadn't sprung. So when I did this, I thought of doing a watercolor in the fall. And so this is what I've come up with my composition here, a fall scene. And a lot of people think that the winter doesn't hold pure color and of any interest. And I think all of our seasons is unique in color, and it's just how you apply them values when you're painting a painting. This painting here, when I painted it, it kind of put me in mind of when I was a young boy and my brother and I would venture out of my grandfather's place. He owned about 600 acres in the Missouri foothills, we call it the Ozarks, and summertime, no school, and barefoot and enjoying the day. We'd take our rifles, my brother and I, and go out squirrel hunting and enjoying the day. And so in this area here that I'm painting, it kind of reminds me of a time walking down an old dirt road. And I can't even comprehend back in the days when the pioneers were struggling to spread through this country and establish their homesteads and what have you, and not having any roads at all, not even a roadbed. And so as I painted this, I kind of put in my mind that it was pretty rough go for those people, and they were a different breed of people, guarantee you, than we see today. But anyway, here I'm laying out the underpainting of my composition, and I want to be careful with my color value as we continue here. This is kind of a scene that you're back in the forest, and it can seem like it kind of swallows you up, and that's why I kind of feel like it means something to me when I paint it, because it's kind of like a secret place, a hidden place, a hidden treasure is what I named it. And so it just your values are so important that you don't saturate it when you're established in this, and less saturation, we know, is distance, and if you increase the saturation, you get towards pure color. Then that's your close-ups, and so that's your atmospheric values as you paint a painting, that you want to create distance, and which will make your painting stand out. And like I said, I've enjoyed painting many years, and there was a time that I kind of pulled back, and I wished I hadn't done that. But as my older years appear at this time, it holds more value and gives me something to do in my retirement, just to enjoy painting and sharing with you all. Here I'm applying my trees that I'm going to have up close in this painting, and just applying the color as we go along here, and like I said, trying to get the underpainting in. And as I said before, the underpainting is so important. Your finished product, your painting will be lacking if you don't put your time in on the underpainting. I don't care if it's oils or acrylic or watercolor, but and again, I haven't painted with watercolor I haven't done too many paintings, and so it's still, I'm a learning process. But this is an oil painting I'd done years ago, and to me it doesn't have enough color that pops through. Now here you see the underpainting of foliage that I'm applying here, and then the important part of this part here is I want the sky to show through a lot of the leaves, and so I'm really careful here that I don't lose that value in the establishing the foliage. And when you get to the end of this, you'll see, and I believe I showed you at the beginning of it, that what the painting has with the sky shining through the foliage, it adds a lot to the painting. So I'm going to quit jabbering here and just kind of let you all watch, and I'll break in once in a while and say something, and I hope you can stay with me here until we finish. Of course, the finished product, you hope, turns out a lot better than what it looks like when it begins, but yeah, it's enjoyable just to watch it proceed along. As you see here, I'm applying some darker values in my painting because naturally it's a little closer to you. The saturation is not as much, as I said, further away, but it's closer to you in the painting. It will get deeper in color. You might say pure color. And so you just establish this as you come from a distance, start from your distance, furthest point away, and bring it towards you, and watch your values, and you'll achieve what you're trying to do, which will give you distance and detail in your paintings. So that's something you want to be aware of as you not only putting your composition together, but it is valuable to establish what you want as far as your center of interest, but also, as I said, to map out your colors. You've got to do that. And then so many times, whenever I'm been dealing with watercolor, I see things that I wished I had done differently, and that's what you're going to see as you paint. But I don't know what the value is, the percentage of color that you lose as watercolor dries, but when you think you're getting it too dark, I guarantee you're not getting it dark enough. And so that's something that's going to have to grow on you and be able to achieve as you produce, and you still have your difficulties. I say, like in watercolor, it's very hard to go back into change any values that you've got, because what you've got is what you see. And so, yeah, this is a method that doesn't have a lot of leeway, and yet it does, because once you achieve having the freedom to paint at will with watercolor, it's wonderful, because the color will blend and run and make some of those areas that you didn't even think about just jump out and make the value of your painting a wonderful thing to look at. And like I said, the eyes of the beholder will see what they want to see. You don't have to be in great detail in things of what you're doing, because your brain will operate in the fashion that they will see what they want to see. And I'm always amazed whenever someone says that they see a stream of water when it's a path. Now this here, of course, is the underpainting of the path, and whenever I get done with it, it'll be more of a tan color, and there'll be several shadows within the path itself, which will make it look like a path. And there'll be those that will say, well, that looks just like a photograph. Well, I know they're trying to give you a compliment, but that's one thing you don't want, is your picture to look like a photograph. A photograph is valuable to give you your composition and what you don't like about it, what you do like. And at that stage, you can do whatever you want when you're putting it together and trying to design the finished product. But they mean well when they say that. But I think a painting needs to be, when it's established, far greater than just a photograph. But it does give you distant shadows and stuff like that that your mind doesn't see when you're putting your composition together and starting to paint. But it does give you a valuable area that you see how the sun is casting. When you're doing plein air, basically you don't go any probably further than what you're seeing here, just a quick establishment of your design, and then when you get back to the studio, then you apply the detail and the depth of color. But it's in an area that does help you as far as establishing what you want to do when you look at a photograph. And a lot of times you just run out of ideas, and that's my problem. I just run out of ideas, and I try not to look at too many paintings, because I don't want my painting to look like someone else's painting. And you want it to be your own composition. And this is another one here I did. It's an oil painting, and I did a little wash on it to bring out some colors in it. But anyway, yeah, it's really fun to paint. I think if it's not, then I don't know how you do it. But I enjoy it, and at my age, as time's getting away from me, I feel like that it's an important time for me now to paint. We don't know what our health's going to be, and I don't care if you're young or old. It beats sitting on a park bench and playing checkers with other old men. So, you know what I mean. Anyway, just follow along here a little bit. And if you got your paints going, get your paints out and just go for it. And don't be too critical about your work, because the more you push that brush, the better you're going to be. As I said, you can watch people paint all day long, but you've got to achieve that inner voice that tells you what you're trying to establish. And sometimes that voice, it's kind of like when God speaks to you in that small voice that He speaks to you at times that you're just not hearing. And in your painting, it's the same way. Your painting needs to speak to you, and it starts out speaking very softly, and then as you apply your pure colors, then it begins to speak louder. So yeah, just an enjoyable little experiment I'm doing here, and just wanted to share it with you. Not to brag about my paintings, because someone said the other day, well, I just don't paint as well as you do, and I told them, stop it, don't even say that. I said, if you're an artist, you're an artist. Depending if you're creating a subject matter, and but you know, it is what it is, and you're an artist. So don't sell yourself short just because you're comparing yourself with someone else's work. You can use other people's work and to help you learn. I'm not saying you don't, but you're designing, you're creating, and I think all of us are creators. I really do. I don't care if it's in painting or music or poetry or just living our lives. We're always creating. That's the way God designed us, and He is the creator. And in that area, that we too are creators. He's given us that gift, and we're always trying to build something. I don't care if it's a house or whatever it is. You're creating. So don't sell yourself short. All right, just kind of follow along here a little bit. See where it takes us. Here I'm establishing the shoulder of the old road, and in a minute you're going to see the finished product of this painting that I've put together, and kind of give you an overall what it's going to look like, a view of pure color, and why it's so necessary in your composition that you apply that detail in the latter part of your painting. But as I said, in watercolor, your color values seem to be dark, and like I said, I'll guarantee you when you get done, you'll find out that it wasn't dark enough. So once you get that in your mind as you're painting, then your finished product will come out even better. But it just takes some experience, and I'm still learning myself. So I think every painting that you do, you learn something off of it. And as you're seeing here, it's coming together. It seems to be slow, but you know, anything's worthwhile doing. Take your time, and when you get done, you won't be sorry that you did. But anyway, it's just getting your composition together and getting the balance that you want. I get to the distant trees back there. That'll bring some value in distance, and darken these closer trees that's in our painting, and just mostly just adding texture to your painting, and you'll come up with the values, hopefully, that you need to make your painting look like what you want. So there you go. Now there's what it looks like when it's done, and see, the pure color makes it really come about, and the distant trees too. I do a light wash, even with the watercolor. I do a light wash, the oranges and the reds, and it's just it's that type of thing that makes your painting quality stand out. And as you see here, I'm really darkening the sides in because this is the closest part to you. And you always will remember that decreasing your saturation gives you distance, and increasing it gives you the areas of those areas being close to you as you view it from your sight. It's located in each painting that you do. Your horizon line, that's what I'm trying to say. But just kind of watch here a little bit, and I'm establishing some dark colors now, as you've seen in the finished product. Those are what I call the ones that are standing out, and that put you back into the deepest part of the forest or the wooded area. And we had some beautiful, beautiful landscapes in Lake of the Ozarks, mid and southern part of Missouri, and some beautiful things to look at. And we go to different many states to see it, but if you just look around what we got here, there's a lot of values here that you can paint. And like I said, right outside my door here, I've got a lake, which I'm going to go down and do a plein air for you all. It'll be a quick one, but anyway, kind of show you how to capture, not detail, but just the areas that you're needing to take back to your studio to establish your detail. But here we go again. I'm trying to establish some color. Just follow along here, and hopefully you'll get something from this. If you don't, I will. this is one of the highlights for me, or excitement, whenever I get to this portion where I'm starting to lay in some detail. And the detail here is minor, but it's starting to show the shape of things and the limbs of trees, and which when you're looking in the timber, the areas that you're painting, such as this is, you have a lot of limbs, and they're not only in trees, but they're branches that are on the ground. And again, when you're doing your detail, you got to be careful that you don't overdo it. It's just kind of like that. Just a few specks of color will represent leaves that are turning on a bush, and you don't want. A lot of times, you don't want it to be very solid. You just want a few specks or a few spots here and there. Now here I'm using a stick to put my hand on so that I can bring out some of the branches and the limbs without getting my hand in the painting. Now in watercolor, you definitely want to wash your hands because your hands have oil and on them, and if you establish that oil in your paper. Now here's another oil painting I did, and I did some washes on that one also. But anyway, you got to be careful because watercolor will not adhere to oil, and I found out that I've got to isolate my brushes. I mean, I have separate brushes for acrylic and also for oils, but if you've got to be careful that you don't, I might say, infect or bring oil into your watercolor brushes. I did that one time, and I couldn't figure out what in the world it was. I didn't have any oil, and I got to look at it. It was laying on an area on my drawing table where I had saturated some oil in an oil painting that I had done, and laid my brushes and cleaned them, laid it with a solvent to clean it, and that messed up my brushes. I had to go and take soap and water and just clean them and clean them and clean them before I could use them, because the minute I put the color into my paper, I see, oh my goodness, there's something wrong. And anyway, just be careful that you have your hands clean, and it's always good not to come in contact with your painting as you're doing your work. So, but I enjoy this part here. It starts to make your paintings start to look like something, and again, you want your foliage to have a certain shine about it, or technique, or texture, I'm trying to say. And in a moment or two, or just before I get this done, I'll go into the far distance and put some texture in the lighter colors of leaves so that they might pop out a little bit. But anyway, just follow along and we'll eventually get this painted. So I hope you're enjoying it. I would I know you get tired of hearing people say subscribe, but I'm trying to establish my channel, and again, it's, if I can see that people are interested in subscribing to my channel, that'll give me some incentive to paint more. And even if it doesn't, I'd still paint. But I'd like to hear from you. Get your input and tell me if you're gleaming anything from my paintings, or it's helping you in your paintings. And it's always nice to grow in your gift that God's given you. So I'd like to hear from you. Subscribe to my channel if you can. Oh, and even share it if you feel like doing it. So. Here you can start to see me bringing out some detail in those leaves back there. Again, they look a little dark right now, but as they dry, the color will what do you want, desaturated, or what do you want to call it, but it'll lighten up a little, and of course after I get this all laid in, like I told you, I'll do a light wash to support these this area that I'm working in right now. Some of the things that you do become kind of monotonous in a painting, but again, that's your painting, and if you're not in the mood to take your time, lay your brush down and come back to it later. A lot of times I'll find that out, that you have to be in the mood to paint. You really do. It has a lot to do with the outcome of your paintings, but there's times that you just don't feel like painting, and that's when it's a good time to pick up a pencil and just do some sketching. Future paintings that you're working on, ones that you've not even thought about yet, but you will do in the future. So it's always good to increase your sketching ability too, so you can achieve 2 or 3 things as you're in your studio. All my life I've worked hard and not had a lot of time to put into my paintings, but I've always still painted in the background, and for the most part. And there was a time that I laid my brushes down and I wished I hadn't done that, but life gets pretty hectic, and I made my living painting. I think I might have said it in other videos that I've done, but it just seemed like that really hard to make a living with a family, and so that's one of the reasons why I think I just kind of give up my time of painting. And I think it was valuable time, because at my age now I look back and say, and we're all that way, how you could use your time more wisely, because life is so short. It's just what's the saying? Here today, gone tomorrow. You know how quickly the weeks go by. So you're a painter, don't waste your time. Push your brush and enjoy yourselves. It seems like the older you get, the better you are in different areas of your life, and hopefully you improve. But I think when you achieve what you're trying to achieve, not only in paintings but other areas that others enjoy, and then you come to the end of your life, and where does it go? So I often think about areas that what we take with us when we go into when we transition. Let me say it that way, into what God's got planned for us, and there's those that says that you'll take your talents, your gifts with you, and I hope that's true. Singing or whatever it might be, that we acquire it in this old life, and in the next we're still at it. So who knows? We'll see. Here I'm adding a little yellow in my detail. You may be a good singer, a good painter, or whatever, but it seems like sometimes you don't appreciate the gift that you got, and you look at other people with their gifts, and you kind of wish, like myself, I wish I was more musically inclined. I hear those that have singing voices, and I envy those that have that talent, and then there's those that tell me that they envy my painting. So I I don't know what that is, but anyway, it's just the way things are, and you're always looking at the other side of this old life, and what people are achieving in their lives. Gift of visitation, or whatever it might be. They're special gifts. So I'd say to you today, don't take them lightly. God gave them to you for a purpose. We need to use them. It'd be nice if you could sit down and paint a painting like this within an hour or so, but you know, the less detail you have, the quicker you can paint. And I've seen those that on YouTube that spend hour or so, and they when they're done with their composition, it's very good. And so there is paintings that you can do, what I call quick art, that can achieve what you're trying to do in your explanation in your painting. So yeah, I plan to do a few of them, what I call quickies, and not spend a lot of time on great detail such as this. So, but then there's joy in that also. Now this is another watercolor I did, a field and grass, and I used a kind of a light red wash in the sky to get that pinkish looking color. And one thing about it, when you do a wash in watercolor, it's what you've got. I mean, you're not going to change it, so be careful when you're applying what you're trying to get, and don't overdo it. Here I'm working back on the shoulder of that road, and I don't know, I'm just trying to establish maybe some texture there, fallen leaves, really not too much fallen leaves in this painting, but just different strokes that gives you some detail. It's got a ways to go, so most of the shadows are cast in blue, and I'll put that on my path here, or on my road, and if I left it that way, somebody would say, well, that's a stream of water. But, you know, like I said, as you progress along and you add your texture in that also, and your right color scales, and then, but your shadows are always got kind of a blue cast, and so that's why I laid it in blue, and then I'll cover that up. And very little mixed media will I use on this painting. There's a couple of areas that you try to establish and hold, but it's starting to take shape now a little bit. So I hope you're enjoying it. I enjoy presenting it to you. One of my friends I was talking to a day or so ago, and he was talking about seeing my painting on Facebook and how much he enjoyed it, and I said, well, I hope people enjoy them when I show them. And it's always good to hear when people say that they get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And then he pulled his cell phone out and showed me his phone that he has, that I'm trying to, of interest, that you put on your first page there on your phone, and it was one of my paintings, and I don't remember what you call it, but anyway, he was laughing about it. He liked it so much that he put that in his background. That's what I'm trying to say, on his phone, on his phone. And like I said again, it's always great to see people enjoying it that much, and not so much the bragging part, but and you do like to have compliments. You really do. So that's nothing uncommon. All right. pure color, you get into that stage, then it starts popping and it starts looking like something. But I'm not done with the foliage. You'll see here a little bit that I'll continue along with that. But that's why I say you need to take your time when you're painting, because if you don't, some of those values that you really want to hang on to will be gone. And you know, I can take acrylic, but I hate to mix acrylic with my watercolor. But there's times that I have to, because it's just, I've lost my value in an area and I want to regain it back. So the shadows on this road, I want to present it that the sun is setting behind us here on the painting, not in the distance, but behind us of the viewer, and it's casting shadows not across the road, but kind of in the direction the road's going. And so that kind of gives you an idea where the sun's at. Here we go again. I'm trying to get some detail in whatever it might be along the side of a road. As I was saying in the beginning of this painting, whenever I paint a picture that I'm working on, you kind of put yourself right there on that roadbed, standing looking at that road towards the horizon there. And as you stand there, you just kind of think to yourself how beautiful nature is. And a lot of times we just don't stop and look at things the way we should and value those things, because it's kind of like when you were a young person growing up and you had your family and everything's good, and you didn't take time to really enjoy it. And you look back and say, well, I wish I'd enjoyed that a whole lot more than I did. And then when your family members start dropping off and transitioning into the next life, you sure miss them. They're there in your heart, but yet you still miss them. And in a painting, I can look at it and I can remember some of the things my brothers and I used to do, and so it just kind of puts them back in your life whenever you're doing such things as this. And like I said, writing a poem or creating a song with family members in your mind. So there's some joy there, not only just in painting, but in reminiscing. Like I said, it's a whole lot better than sitting on a park bench playing checkers. It's amazing when you're doing a plein air and people are curious and they'll stop by and look, and you meet a lot of folks that way. And a lady asked me one day as I was painting over in a cove if it would bother me if she watched me paint. And I said, well, no, it wouldn't bother me, but I'd enjoy that. And so she did, and I hope she enjoyed it. But anyway, yeah, it's good to get out and meet folks, and they enjoy, for the most part, seeing what you're doing. All right. Not much to talk on color. I just figure that's up to you. You know the natural colors of things, the greens and yellows and reds and all the different colors. For me to sit down and explain what the colors I use here, it's not many, but I just don't do that. I figure that that's part of the learning process, and I can give you the colors, but yet you'll not achieve it. So your basic color wheel will give you the values that you're trying to find, and it takes time to sit down and kind of apply that color wheel and understand the areas of mixtures in your color and your primary colors, and And basically, that's what you're working off of, and you're just different hues and what have you of your mixture. So I don't talk a lot about the color. I may do a painting of this same painting, maybe in a springtime painting or even a winter. That would be a neat painting also. But I would like to do that. I may do that. I may recreate this composition, and I don't think I'll paint a 4 season, but anyway, it's like we have here in Missouri. We do have 4 seasons, but the method I'm doing here is kind of stippling the leaves in, and then I don't particularly like that by itself. That's why I did a wash to kind of separate those marks. But here I'm establishing some more dark areas of leaves closer to us than the distant ones. One of the things I do enjoy is I like to look at the comments, and I don't see so many comments at this time. I hope later that I start hearing from you, and that way I can tell that what you'd like to see or see more of, or if you're getting anything out of this. I hope you are. And you can see the road bed there now. I've applied a blue color. Now that blue color will dissipate whenever I put the colors that I want to achieve in there, and so it will not be that blue. I've heard it said, when do you know when the painting's done? And I don't know. I think sometimes you can overdo your painting, and you got to be careful with that, but there's always an area that you can see if you just keep messing around that needs to be touched, and so it's just part of the process of your painting. As you finish it, you don't want to overdo it, but yet you still want to achieve those areas that you're trying to get established. When you're back into the timber and there's a lot of foliage, it seems like you're kind of swallowed up with the trees, and that's what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm trying to get those areas where you're back in the shaded area, looking out at the different highlights, and that the sun creates when it's shining on the path or on the road or whatever it might be. And the foliage is so thick that you cannot see color in these darker areas, and that kind of gives you a feeling of being back in the thickness of the timber. And I was kidding with someone the other day that said that this painting kind of reminds me of a good place to hunt mushrooms in the spring. And like I said, it just kind of puts you there when you think of things like that. Again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We're getting towards the end of our session here today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, like I said, I've enjoyed doing it for you, and I could be like others. Talk about other painters being better than me, but I said a while ago, don't say that. Just enjoy your paintings that you've put together, and don't worry about being as good as so-and-so. But I've enjoyed having you here today, and if you've hung on this long, I thank you. And again, I'd like to hear from you in my comments, so if you have anything to say, I'd love to hear it. And I want to remind you of, someone said the other day, or here a while back, that if to love your neighbor. And in loving your neighbor, it's easy to love those that love you back. But I tell you what it really means is to love those neighbors that don't love you so much. They just might see the glory of God, the light of God shining through you. So God bless you guys, and stay safe. And I just wish you a happy painting, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.